Welcome back to Battlefield 4 Live right here on Amazon.com, Battlefield.com, and even Twitch.tv. I'm Gordon. I'm joined here by Alex. So we're going to talk specifically. We can get out of the bounds if we want to, but I want to focus really on the squad aspect of everything that we can think of. Right off the top, again, Alex, thanks for hopping on here with us and giving the chance to be able to dive down deep into another element. I mean, there's so many different factors that come into play, whether you're talking about air, land, or sea, whether you're talking about your assault, recon, engineer, so on and so forth. There's just, again, then you talk about a levolution, then you talk about commander mode. There's just so many different things that that can be change the gameplay for Battlefield 4.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
So let's start off right off the bat. So in Battlefield 3, the squad had a limitation of 4. Yeah. What is it now?
Now it's up to 5 people. We listened to the feedback that some people thought it was too small. They wanted bigger squads, so we bumped it to 5. We think that is a good balance, you know, between chaos and you know, enabling team play, because team play is a big thing that we want to push for this time around, and we'll talk a little bit about that when we go into the details of the field upgrades. Yeah, so we felt like 5 people was a good bump.
It's actually, I mean, it still works for a transport helicopter. You can have 1 pilot. That could be your squad leader if you want it to be. Then from there, you can also have your 4 players in the back. You have 2 gunners, 2 engineers, still trying to keep yourself alive.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, I agree. It's a perfect fit. It kind of fits a lot of the vehicles that are out there. You can definitely build a really good squadron. So let's kind of, again, talk a little bit now about the squad leader. What's the big purpose of being a squad leader in this?
So basically, the squad leader has the ability to set orders for his own squad.
Okay.
He also has abilities to request help from the commander.
Okay.
And he will also be the one that, you know, accepts or denies the order from the commander itself.
Now, see, that's a very important element, especially now that we have commander mode. That commander mode has the ability to actually select a location on the map where that specific squad needs to go, and that was new to me to hear that you can accept or deny that order.
So we wanted to build upon this chain of command feeling. Basically, the idea that the commander is communicating with the squad leaders, and then the squad leaders are then responsible for their squad. So that kind of goes both ways. It goes up and it also goes down.
So I know there's a lot of question. I'm going to put you on the spot for just a moment.
Yeah.
So in previous versions, you had the ability to just spawn off the squad leader.
Yeah. And
in this version, you can spawn off of any squad member.
So that is actually a server setting that people can play around with. It's like that in BF3 also, that there is a server setting for it. We tried it, but we went for the full squad. We feel it's more accessible for the full squad, but I completely understand if people, you know, in the hardcore mode and more strategic players would like to only be the squad leader, and then they can do so.
So that right there is actually a really good answer into the fact that some of us like to play our games differently, and you've given the ability for server side, for those that own their own server, to sit there and say, okay, you just can spawn on your squad leader. We're going to play hardcore mode with these different types of attributes. But what's going to be the focus in the normal mode and hardcore mode, just for the kind of the next gen consoles? I mean, we're talking for a console player. I hop in. I don't really have that accessibility to set every server setting.
Yeah.
What's the default?
So the default, is basically, we felt like previous time around, we felt like there was too much randomness for new players coming in, because people had set up these weird rules on the server, and we wanted basically to be able to control the first hours of gameplay more than we are able to right now.
Right.
So what we did basically is that we have another setting on the server, which is a setting that will be used that is much more restrictive than normal, and basically you're only allowed to tweak minor things, and this is the server that you actually do quick match to. Because the idea here is that if you want a specific type of experience, you should go look for it, i.e. go look into the server browser, or things like that. We want to make sure that the players that don't necessarily know too much about the game, they join the game, and it's pretty much what we designed it to be, not not like a badmin.
So we're in the pre-alpha version of Battlefield 4. One of the questions that, or one of the things that I've seen is that a commander can actually be a part of a squad. Is that really an element that is going to be in the release, or is that just what we're seeing today?
That is probably just an error. The commander will be on the outside.
That's
of
what,
the game.
and that's what I assumed.
It's a pre-alpha software, as you said. There's some glitches. I'm sure that the people watching.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and we've seen that just. Again, pre-alpha, there's different things that just need to be fine-tuned.
Yeah.
And I'm still thoroughly impressed of what we have at this point, especially the fact that your team over at DICE has done such an incredible job to even give us the ability to play here at E3.
Yeah, I think the team really pulled together for this one. It's a tough demo to pull up, 64 players. We had to get it up and running and stable and all that stuff.
It's phenomenal.
So, yeah, it's the directions have been good, and I'm super happy about what we delivered for E3 this year.
Huge thank you to your team as well. I mean, the fact that we can have the chance to be able to play the game. Let's talk about also. Let's go into a first-person view for a moment here. So whenever we're looking, it doesn't matter what player we're on. If you look down into the bottom left side of your screen, nearby the mini-map, there's the Pro Bar.
Yeah.
And can you first explain the origin of it, what it actually is?
So, Pro Bar. I don't know who told you that, but that's
I've heard it. I've heard it from one of the. One of the DICE employees.
Yeah.
But I asked him what he thought it was called. So
it's called field upgrades.
There we go.
Yeah. The Pro Bar is just a name used internally.
My bad, my apologies. I didn't mean to say that.
No worries.
Field upgrades.
But anyway, the idea here is that we wanted to have some sort of squad progression. We wanted to reward players who did teamwork together and reward them. We wanted to give them something extra. So the idea is that for all the team actions you're doing, you'll score. You'll be scoring be put into that XP pool basically of. On the left-hand side there. So everyone is sharing the same pool. So you're all kind of doing actions together, and it will go into that pool. So as you progress through doing various team actions, then you will be able to unlock small field upgrades that is available for you. The important thing here is that you choose what field upgrades are in your line. And
so individual.
Exactly. So you share the experience bar, but you don't share the actual bonuses. Those are individual.
Okay, so I have to ask, so in the current version right now, you have an offensive field upgrade and a defensive field upgrade. Is this the way that's going to be in the final build, or are you going to have the ability to select specifically, I want my first thing that I get is ammo boost, opposed to having sprint boost? Is that going to be something that's going to be accessible?
So basically, the way that it's going to work is that you get to choose a path that you're going down. Right now there's only 2, but there will be more.
Okay, there we go.
So and basically those paths will give you different types of bonuses and depending on what you want it to be basically. But you can't customize inside a path. The path is already set, but you can choose which one that you want to sort of go down.
So preset paths that have already been allowed. It makes sense because and also I guess the interesting thing too is so whenever I'm playing. This is just a squad, or just a field upgrade to myself. So if I select the sprint path, the sprint is the very first thing in my field upgrade.
Yep.
That's not going to affect my squad. That's going to affect me individually. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So different than what we've seen from Battlefield 3. Whenever you have your loadout, I'm going to sit there and have squad ammo.
Yeah.
You'll have squad sprint. It's different than that now.
Exactly. That's the whole point. We wanted it to be a bit more individual, and we wanted you to be a bit more in control over the bonuses you got. One of the problems in Battlefield 4 was that, Battlefield 3 was that it was really difficult for you to coordinate the whole team.
Right, everybody has
sprint or everybody has a grenade, depending on what type of game mode they had. And I was trying to always, go back and forth and try to make sure that we had different things. So this is a way for us to work around that problem, as you basically choose yourself what you want, and then work your way up into it.
Okay, so you'd mentioned that the fact that you're going to have you earn points to work through your field upgrade.
Yeah.
So with that being said, is that squad points? Is that team points, or is that individual points? How does that bar press along?
So it presses. So everyone in your squad contributes to this bar.
Okay.
but it's only team actions that contribute to the bar itself.
What type of? I apologize, but what type of? Like, can you give us some type of specifics?
Yeah. So if you're capturing a flag together,
okay,
or that you're following orders from the commander to capture an objective, all these things that help each other, help the squad, or things you're doing together. That's the kind of stuff that goes into that sort of pool.
So if my squad is doing incredibly well, is there any way to negate the fact, to kind of push me back?
Yes.
If my teammate dies, does that make an impact? If my squad dies, does that?
Yes. So when your squad is wiped, you get when you're ticking your way up the bar, and you maybe have gotten the first level, and you're ticking a bit further. If your squad gets wiped, you get reset to the previous level you had.
Right,
but you can never go. You can never go back from the level you have achieved. It's only the accumulated points between the level you are at and the next level that you can lose. Never a whole, go back another level.
How many levels do we have that we can go through? Is it 4?
Right now it's 4, I believe. That might change.
That might change as well. So again, pre-alpha stages for Battlefield 4. There's so many different types of options that and different features that may be implemented later on. I think that actually answers a great deal of information. And so the squad leader is the one that can confirm and deny orders from the commander. I think that's a beautiful thing. It kind of gives a reason for the squad leader. I think in the Battlefield 3, it's kind of lost a little bit. I mean, and this is my opinion. It's not saying that this is an opinion across the board there in the community, but it seemed like it was a little bit lost whenever you're kind of watching the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a bit unclear what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah.
So we're talking in terms of normal mode, of course, hardcore mode. You could sit there and say you can only spawn off the squad leader. Gave the squad leader a little bit more intent to stay alive. That's those different types of options. Other than that, I think that really answers a great deal. You talked about the field upgrades. Currently, there's in this pre-alpha version, there's only the offensive and defensive field upgrades. Those will change. Probably even the names will change. Correct?
Probably.
So just kind of briefly running over those different points right now. One could be a sprint boost, which could increase your speed. Another could be an ammo boost, allows you to carry more spare magazines. Of course, right now we're kind of in a hardcore mode with just for our clips, based off of this build of the game.
Yep.
So with that actually may be a nice little thing to have. So I would have selected offensive field upgrade right off the bat. Another thing, maybe your grenade boost, also suppression resistance, very similar to what we've seen in the previous versions as well. Is there any other type of boost that we haven't seen?
Yes, there will be boosts that you haven't seen.
I think there's one that I see that it says hill boost.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing a hill boost before.
Me neither.
And then there's a grenade boost that was in the previous version.
Yep.
So those are the ones that we see right now. Is there any possible chance that we may see even other types of boosts?
Yeah, probably. That's definitely something that we are looking into, right? We want to make sure that it's interesting for the player, that it's making an interesting choice while choosing his path. So yeah, there will definitely be some new stuff there.
Just the idea that things can be so flexible. What may be an idea. So say, for instance, we're talking very tactical, maybe even some boosts that might involve vehicles.
Yeah, probably.
I know I'm not saying yes or no to this. I'm not having you answer right off here. That's it. Daniel had a field day with me because I was asking so many questions. He's like, it might happen. But doesn't mean it's not. Again, for those of you at home, it's not a no.
Yeah.
It's not a no. Anything is possible in Battlefield. Yeah, so what we see from this game so far, it looks like, again, we've been having the ability to watch gameplay while we talk about each of the elements. Today has been really great. I honestly, for those of you at home, I thought I was going to run out of topics to talk about. Whenever I got brought on board, I was like, man, I'm going to run out of topics to talk about in day one. But honestly, there's been something new every single day that we've had the chance to talk about. Again, I'd had the chance to be able to have my co-host on here, Alex Mendez. He did a great interview with Patrick Bach in the beginning. I had a chance to be able to talk with Daniel as well as yourself, and it's been new content, new ideas, just talking about all the different elements within Battlefield 4. It has been now 3 hours talking about Battlefield, and we haven't covered the same thing yet.
Wow.
That right there is just an impressive element. We haven't even, and Alex and I haven't even really talked about Levolution either.
Nope.
And that's one of the key features, one of the key components that have been brought into this game.
Yeah, so you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, might as well. Let's go and have a field day with it while this game is starting to wind down. Of course, for those of you that don't know about Levolution, it's your first time tuning in. You may have seen the EA press conference where they're showing off the multiplayer. You may have went over to youtube.com/Battlefield and checked out the multiplayer demo there as well, which was incredibly impressive for myself, because the fact is that we had Carl Magnus had a tablet, and that's a really gutsy move to try to utilize a tablet on stage for in early stages like this, but he was using commander mode on that tablet, so that was impressive.
Yeah, it was. We were a bit worried, but we decided, let's do it.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
It works, and that right there, again, these early stages and how much of an impact, that's just phenomenal. So again, talking about Levolution, that fire hydrant right there could be an example of Levolution.
Yes.
In terms of it's maybe aesthetically it looks great, but in reality of it, it also blocks visibility.
Yes.
So it is an element of gameplay.
Absolutely. I mean, we wanted to add all these little small things that you could use, in order to affect the world around you. And how would you? So there's a bunch of things that is already, typically just props. They're just there. They're just there for eye candy, more or less.
Yep.
And then how can we give this thing like a purpose? Like in real life, they would have a purpose. If you shot if you got the water sprinklers going off in this room, that would have an effect on you in a scenario. So we wanted to explore all these options about, how can we make this battlefield be more dynamic than what it is today, and basically down here. You have these shutter gates that you can see on the left.
Right on the left-hand side.
Yeah, exactly. On some places.
If we can go into free cam real fast over towards the B side, we can kind of take a look at some of these different elements. So there's, see, we'll just fly through real quick over by Metro, back towards right behind us right now. Our camera guy, this is coordination right here. Communication is key. And so down inside it, so there's Levolution based off of the fire hydrants, like I mentioned. If we go downstairs, we can take a look at some of the metal gates.
So here we have another thing, the tactical destruction thing going on there with a tank that has fallen down. And
so so is it visible? Is it pretty noticeable to the different key points that you can cause a pretty dramatic Levolution?
Yes, of course. This one's in particular because we wanted people to use it. Some of it's more subtle. The things that are subtle are, the lights blinking and stuff like that. Behind here, you can kill those lights, so it becomes more dark.
So the lights that are down in that back corner, that's something, light that's glaring at you.
Yeah, you can take it out.
You can take it out, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. If I want to hide behind it, if there's an enemy hiding behind it, I can shoot out that light, and now I can visibly see him.
Exactly.
And again, key pivotal things that will are game changers. Literally game changers.
So if you go, if you take a look back inside the Metro, where the stores are.
Yeah. So so this is another point that our camera guy is trying to show us. Can we zoom in on the first pillar that's closest to us? Again, this is how noticeable these points are. So this one's already been. So it's already about to come down. Yeah. But those pillars right there, you see how noticeable they are. That's again kind of it's a symbol. Or it's something that's designated to show that is something that can come down. So also something to note, I know that Patrick Bach as well as Carl Magnus have both brought up some of the storefronts. You have the capability walking through a metal detector that they will give some type of audio noise, letting you know that someone's passed through.
Exactly.
Also, what you were trying to get to was talking about the gates, the storefronts. You can actually bring down a metal gate, which actually changes the flow because it's only one-sided, correct?
Exactly. There's only one control point for it, and there's actually one here as well.
Yeah, and they're in the arcade.
Yep. So here they are up, but you can lower them down. Basically, that in this particular base, gives you pretty good coverage from the outside.
That's
so
great.
So it's good when you're trying to capture it. Of course, you can destroy the gates again if you have the RPG.
That was going to be my next question, because it sounds like it would be very overpowering if I have the capability of closing a gate, and then now they can't interact with me. Maybe I'm low on health. I immediately go to the gate, bring it down.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel great. I'm covered and everything, that works out. But what you had mentioned, it's still, you have the capability to be able to destroy that gate as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So you can get through it even though it's down. But if you don't have explosives right there, you might have to take the walk around. Yeah, exactly. So it's not supposed to be a complete blocker, but it's supposed to be. I think
it's been a great job. There's also the bollards right here.
Yeah.
You can take a look at the control panel right there. It's a green light right now, meaning that you can walk up to it, press the button, it will bring. Oh, nice. That just kind of worked out for us.
Yeah.
You can see how there's a green side, and on the other side there is a red side.
Yeah,
so whenever a vehicle tries to, I'll allow you to explain it.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's what happened right now. There probably was a vehicle that had just passed it. You can pass through from the green side, but not the red side.
Right. And so one of the things that we saw on day one was tanks. We had seen 2 tanks try to push through the barrier on the red side. So they even blocked some pretty hardcore vehicles as well.
Yeah, they should be able to block you. I mean, you can get over them. It's just a little bit of a hassle.
And there's also a cooldown on that as well. So you're not going to have anybody walking up to the bollards and just spamming away at them.
No, exactly. It's going to be. You have to choose what to do, and then there will be a little bit cooldown before you can.
That's great.
Set it back again. Yeah, and the other part of the evolution, which you've probably seen quite a few times, is this dust that has been thrown around on the map itself. Yeah, it's completely changing the visual feel of the map.
I think one of my favorite things, and it's not necessarily directly Levolution per se, but in the single player, what we've seen time and time again is whenever walks out into the open and all of the birds that you can see. I think that right there, just the fact that it just shows how graphically pleasing this game can actually be.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's pretty. It's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so to kind of take a look at some of the top gamers that we have so far, 19 and 11 is Alpha 08. Playing extremely well so far. So so far, so again, we talked about Levolution, talking about the storefront, some of the destruction points. Some of them are even aesthetic that you can destroy.
Yeah. So one of my pet peeves with these storefronts that I've been pushing for since forever is that I want to be able to drive a tank through the whole end of this store. I want to be able to crush everything in the store.
You want to be able to crush everything?
Yeah.
Just be able to take out each of those pillars in the storefront.
Yeah, I want to go through here with the tank. I want to drive a tank through all these doors. That's the thing I've always been pestering my team about. I mean, you're not quite there yet, but you can do it now, and I want to make it even cooler, because who the hell doesn't want to ride a tank through a store?
Hey, only in Battlefield can you come up with some ideas like that. Alex, it's been a pleasure talking with you, especially informing us on how the squads really work. If you didn't get the chance to be able to catch us, you caught us at the wrong time, make sure you check out over at youtube.com/Battlefield. Also, other different points that you can be able to check out as well. I know there's a lot of posts that are out there on Reddit that are saying, go to twitch.tv, find this video, go back to 1 hour, 30 seconds, and 15 milliseconds. I mean, they're down to the science of searching through video right now. So yeah, that's Alex. Again, it's a pleasure. Make sure you order your copy of Battlefield 4 on Amazon. A pre-order your copy, and we'll be able to catch you on the other side. Of course, we still have a lot more gameplay coming up. We're actually going to have Level Cap join us. You've seen a lot of his YouTube videos out there. We'll bring him on here and get his perspective, a community member on the game as well. So stick around right here on the Battlefield 4 live stream. We'll be right back.